This is round 1 of the 2026 AFL season, and these are the following oddities. In this first clip, you can see that the Tigers kick it inside the forward 50. Someone flies in for the mark, and it looks like he's missed it by an absolute mile and takes out his defender. So this should have been a free kick. But on the replay, unfortunately I didn't capture it, the player actually does get the fingertips right to the top of the ball. So very good call by the umpire if he has seen this somehow. And I guess we don't give enough credit to the umpires for making the right call, but very well done to him. Far out, the Blues tried absolutely everything to lose this game. I mean, credit to Richmond. Probably not many people would have thought that they had a chance, but they had a pretty good second half, and the young team looks pretty exciting this year, actually. Anyway, in this clip, you can see Brodie Kemp kicks the ball off the ground towards goal, and it slowly bounces, and you think, is the defender going to get there? And it goes through for a goal. But watching from the replay, have a look at how much this ball bends as it bounces. You just got to love players like Maurice Rioli, who just come out of the frame. Nobody sees him coming unless the cameraman zooms out, and he just absolutely mows down Ollie Florent. After Short has the ball in his defensive 50, he fails to get rid of it, and he is tackled by Lockie Fogarty. And Fogarty goes back, he's 20 metres out straight in front, and somehow manages to hit the post. Yeah, that's an ugly shank. And then it was Harry Armstrong's turn to have the shank shot, and you can hear the commentator, even he goes, oof. How's the soccer pass on the run here from Seth Campbell? The ball comes down to him, and he just taps it across to Steely Green, who kicks for goal. He gets bumped after. Unfortunately, he can't finish it with a nice goal, but what a pass. I remember Rochelle did something like this last year, and the commentators were absolutely loving it. I feel like this should have got a little bit more attention than it did. Now this tackle here, Zach Williams was able to come back, and I don't think Maurice Rioli has done anything technically wrong, but it does just look like a very awkward tackle, and you can see the Williams is holding his ankle pretty much straight away. He does come off and take a bit of time on the bench, but he does come back and play, so I think this one's fine. And obviously Zach Williams has a history of injuries of his ankles and his calf and the hamstring, so as soon as he did this one I was a little concerned, but he seemed to be okay. Jonty Fall looks like he's going to be missing a week for this strike on Wiedering in the midsection. The tribunal said that anything like this will be a week instantly, whether they suffer an injury or not, which I think is fine. It's not part of the game. It's a cheap gut punch. So, unfortunately, he's probably going to miss a week for this. And then quickly, my Brownlow votes, I gave 3 to Paddy Cripps, 2 to Jagger Smith, and 1 to Sam Laylor. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to watch much of the Essendon and Hawks game, so I only do have the one clip from this, so I do apologise to the Bombers and Hawks fans. In this first clip, I don't know how Barras wasn't called for holding the ball. This is obviously in the first quarter, so everything was a fair bit of a scrap. The pressure is really high in this, but the skills were kind of lacking. Not sure why the umpire didn't pay. There was probably 2 free kicks there to Essendon at the start of the clip, but none of them paid. For this game, I gave 3 votes to Connor McDonald, 2 to Jack Gunston, and 1 to Jai Newcomb. Man, we're getting so many good shanks in the first, well, 1 round, 0 round, round 1, whatever, of, full forwards just completely shanking it. You can see here Jake Stringer, I'm not sure what he's trying to do, if he's trying to hook the ball or what, but somehow this ball goes out of bounds on the full. He's a full forward getting paid who knows how much against one of his old teams, and he just can't kick it straight. As the Orange Tsunami is running from the midfield, you can see that Brown gets the ball. He has multiple options. There's probably 2 players he could kick it to, 1 player he can handball it to, or even go for shot at goal. And I guess you could play the music A, B or C. Which options are going to be? Well, the answer is D. He kicks it straight to Buku Kamas. What in the world is he thinking? That there is pretty much the definition of a coach killer. If that was me, he'd be getting off and I would be giving him an absolute spray. Now, Toby Green gives away quite a few dumb free kicks in my opinion, and I don't think there's any dumber than this. For some reason, when there's a ruck in the Bulldogs forward 50, Toby Green just runs straight into Darcy in the ruck contest, and that's a clear free kick. And he goes and kicks the first goal for the Dogs. Just an absolute brain fart on that one. Sometimes you just have to admire the absolute courage and bravery that the players show in this sort of collision. Then players are running back, trying to spoil the ball, players are coming forward. Sometimes these sorts of hits are inevitable. As far as I'm aware, everyone was able to come back and play the rest of the game. It looked like Laverde might have been the worst hit. Himmelberg had a split chin. He went off for quite some time, but he did come back. And I'm not sure, I think the Bulldogs player also came back as well. Aaron Norton was in the back, but he bounced straight back up. So good to see that everyone was okay from this, because this could have ended a lot worse than it actually was. And for my Brownlow votes, I think Marcus Bontempelli gets 3 votes. Aaron Norton, who kicked a bag, got 2. And Matt Kennedy was also very important for the Bulldogs in the middle. I think he gets the 1 vote. How is this play here from O'Driscoll? I thought this was fantastic. He's able to get the spoil, handballs it off, gets it back, and then he's able to just absolutely cut through the Cats' defence, and he goes through and kicks a goal. Unfortunately, the Dockers weren't able to finish off the game and get the win. I did have them tipped to win, and it was looking pretty good at half-time, but unfortunately the Cats just too strong, and Freo just too defensive mindset, I believe. Now in hindsight, this is pretty hilarious. Patrick Voss goes back to kick a goal, but unfortunately the goal umpires actually called it a point. From the camera angle we had, and himself, he also thought he kicked a goal. It looked like it did go through the middle, so I'm not sure what happened here, whether the AFL did a review. I don't know how that works, but you can see that he's celebrating, and Brian Pies goes up to him and says, "Mate, have a look at the scoreboard, you kicked a point." Now, that is pretty funny. Mitch Edwards cannot believe that the umpires paid a free kick here, but I have no idea what the heck he was thinking. You can see that he's just gone way too early. He's just put the knee into Luke Jackson's chest. And of course the umpire pays a free kick. He's right there. He didn't get back and touch the ball. So for me, yeah, that's a clear free kick. But you can just see it on his face. He's like, how is that a free kick? It's pretty clear to me. And for my Brownlow votes, I thought Bailey Smith was very important for the Cats. Luke Jackson had a very good game, even though they had the loss. And I think Max Holmes gets the 1, playing out of that defense, that kick and roll. He did get a few disposals through that method and also the metres gained. But I feel like he was still very important to Geelong and winning that game. Unfortunately, Amadi won't get an assist for this, even though I feel like there should be some 1%er or some sort of stat he should get recognised for this little tap on. If he takes possession of this ball, he's probably going to get tackled and it's going to be ball up, but he's able to tap the ball over the top, and Roses is able to gather the ball and kick a goal for the Swans. Very clever by Amadi here. I thought this was great by both Dunkley and the umpire. You can see that Blakey takes a mark inside the midfield, almost at the centre circle, and he plays on. He definitely takes a couple steps, looking like he's about to gather the ball and go for his famous run. And Dunkley's able to just keep in touch with him, get that tackle, and then the umpire says you play on. He can't believe it, but watching the replay, he definitely took at least 2 steps over his mark, looking like he was going to play on. So very good call by the umpire and good tackle by Dunkley, not giving away a 50-metre penalty. For this match, I gave Errol Goulden 3 votes, even though he did have a oddity. I think Nick Blakey was important enough, so he gets the 2 votes. And Riley Bice had a really good game as well. I think he gets 1 vote. In the second quarter, Crisp kicks an absolute beautiful goal from the boundary line on his left boot, and it sails through. And for some reason, the goal umpire's actually called a score review. He's not sure if this was touched before the line or if he went through for a goal. And I'm not entirely sure what the goal umpire's looking at, because it's cleared up by, I'd say that's well over a metre. Holy Keesus! Look at him go. Oh man, you just gotta love Keys. He's been sent away from the Brisbane Lions. He comes to the Crows, and they don't call him Keesus Jesus for nothing. What a goal. The Collingwood faithful were absolutely livid at this. After Still Sidebottom marks the ball, you can see that the Crows defenders holding onto him a little bit. Probably could have been borderline 50 metres because he's holding up the play, and I guess Still Sidebottom's annoyed at it and he throws the arm back to smack him away, or, you know, I don't know what, but then the umpire's actually called a reversal. It looked like in the live play before I saw the replay, I actually thought he hit him quite low. I thought he hit him in the area you don't hit, guys, but In the end, it wasn't. It was around the hip. So was the umpire maybe a little bit too trigger happy with this one? I don't know. You tell me. This one here had the commentators, the players, and no doubt the spectators very confused. The ball goes inside the Crows' forward 50, and Neil Bullen marks the ball, but it kind of plays on, but not intentionally. It's almost as if he knows it's being touched. One umpire you can hear actually says play on, and the other umpire pays a mark. So it was a little bit confusing, not entirely sure what's the right call. I guess the umpire that is the closest has to make the call. It's really hard when two umpires are saying different things. In the end, they do pay it as a mark. If they decide to overturn it, what do they do? Is it a ball up? Does anyone know what the rules are around that? This one here is going to be quite interesting to watch. Scott Pendlebury, who has not been banned before from the MRO in his entire career, which is a pretty good effort. He looks like he's been hit with a one-game suspension, one-game ban. They are going to challenge this, Collingwood are, and they're going to use a defense of he's a good guy. Now, this has been let go before, so I'll be watching this one closely, and depending on the outcome, I may or may not do a video, but let's keep an eye on this one because coming up to his game record, most games ever played, he may be suspended at the very last minute, at the finish line, which is pretty crazy to think. Anyway, do you think this is worth a suspension? Anyway, for this game, I gave 3 votes to Wayne Miller. He had a career night, so he has to get the 3 votes. Surely he was the best on ground. Sam Berry also was really influential for the Crows in the midfield, I thought. He had some really good disposals and really good clearances. And then Nick Dacos, you just can't keep him down. I think he played really well, but I don't think he was better than the other two, so I think he gets 1 vote. Whitlock for Port Adelaide is able to kick a goal, but it's touched off the boot. Stevens was so important in this game, and I'm sure if Bergman heard that it was touched, he probably would have grabbed it and gone and made sure of the goal. He wasn't able to hear the umpire, and this bounces through as a touched behind. That pretty much summed up Port's night. They were pretty woeful. Yes, I am a Crows fan. I thought this one here from the umpire was an absolute blinder. What do you expect out of a Sunday game? But you can see that Blimers, or whatever his name is, the new guy for North Melbourne, gets the ball, he's mid-tackle, and he handballs it straight out of bounds. And the umpire throws it in. That is a clear free kick to Port Adelaide. I have no idea what the umpire's doing here. For me, Dylan Stevens was absolutely elite. There's no way he doesn't get 3 votes for this. Charlie Comben was also very important in the defensive half. He took 14 intercept possessions, and then LDU in the mid was pretty good, especially, I think it was the second half, he just really outperformed and killed Port Adelaide. I thought this one here is absolutely hilarious for me because Sharp takes a kick at goal. He gets knocked over. Umpire says after the kick, so he gets it back, so he can take a free kick. It's hit the post, and so the umpire actually asks him, do you want to take your kick again? And of course he says yes. He's got a point, so he wants to go back and try and kick a goal. So he goes back on his mark, kicks towards goal, and hits the same bloody post. How is that even possible? I think this one here is the definition of a karma oddity, if that's even a thing. Liam Ryan's gone up for a contender of Mark of the Year. Unfortunately, he's come down and he's hurt himself really bad. You can see he hits his head. He's completely winded himself. But he's still a contender. This play here was quite interesting, and I think it is the right call from the umpire of a no call. As you can see, Latrell Pickett gets the ball. He's tackled by Mason Wood, and he doesn't stick the tackle. He brings him slightly down to the ground, but doesn't hold the tackle. Therefore, it's not a valid tackle, I guess. He gets the ball over the top, and the D's kick a goal. You've got to hold on to that tackle, I guess. Mason Wood has put himself in the contender for goal of the year. Off the full sprint, on the left, bang, through for a goal. He's a left footer, but still, really good goal. Max Hall from the Saints had an absolute blinder. He was playing so well. He probably doesn't quite make the Brownlow votes, but he was very close. And here you can see TDK gives it off to him and he kicks a beautiful goal. Unfortunately, TDK 100% through this, but the goal still stands, so well done to him. But man, had the umpire not pay this as a throw? Far out. Did anyone else see the absolute upcoming on day one of Latrell Pickett? He's also an SA boy, same as Cozzy Pickett. They're cousins. And just watch this. He just absolutely dices through the defense of St Kilda and goes through and kicks a beautiful goal. These sorts of players are just so exciting to watch, being so young and energetic. So let's hope he can bring this sort of energy, this vibe to many games for Melbourne. He's so exciting to watch. You just gotta love it. This one here is probably my goal of the week. This was very well done by Brody Mychek, where he's able to stop Naz from getting the ball. But Hill's got so much experience, he knows that's not going to work. If it's not on, don't do it. They've caused not quite a turnover, but a ball in when this should have been a kick down the line at the very least. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see that a lot with St Kilda this year, where they're going to rely on Naz way too much. He is a superstar, no doubt about it. But other players have to step up, and experienced players like Hill have to recognise that. You can't always just give it to your golden boy and then just hope he does the rest. There may be 2 fines coming here. Latrell Pickett sticks out the foot and trips over Windhager, and as Windhager gets up, looks like a bit of an eye poke on Max Gawn. Keep an eye on it, but out of those things, it's probably just going to be a monetary fine, nothing more than that. For my Brownlow votes, I gave 3 to Max Gawn, 2 to Jacob Van Rooyen, and 1 to Cozzy Pickett. There were pretty big danger signs in the first quarter for West Coast Eagles, and unfortunately it's going to be a very hard year for them. Gold Coast Suns, you can see there's a couple nice moves. Jeffrey has the ball and almost no one comes to him. He's able to kick it inside the forward 50. Somehow Max King wasn't paid this mark. Apparently it was touched. But most people stop except for Christian Petrarca, who picks the ball up and kicks a very cheeky little goal. He's off to an absolute ripper this year. Waterman's put his name in the hat for Shank of the Year. He only just missed it, but have a look at the float of the ball. He's just absolutely helicoptered this one somehow. Everyone rates Mac Andrew, but man, it seems pretty easy to get under his skin. This is only 5 minutes into the game. He gets called for holding the ball, and the first gamer gives him a little bit of cheek, lets him know that it got done, and he just ragdolls him. He just throws him to the ground, gives 50-metre penalty. So he just changes it from probably a pretty hard shot at goal to an almost certainty, and you can see the West Coast players just say, no, don't hit him back, because he wants the free kick. He wants to kick his first AFL goal. After the West Coast Eagles try to kick a goal, Zeke Hewlin is able to take the mark, and he gets a little shove. It's not too bad, and he actually ends up over the fence. The momentum's carried him, and he's gone up and over. Somehow this was not a free kick paid. As you can see, the defender comes over the top of Long and he sort of picks him up. He doesn't really throw him, but he definitely wasn't careful with him either. And he's probably lucky there's no injury, because he may have copped some sort of sanction for this. Maybe monetary. No fine. Play on. These young fellas from West Coast Eagles are pretty good so far. It's only one game, but they've shown that they do want to be there and that they can compete. So well done to them. And of course, after this goal, they know West Coast Eagles, they know they're not going to win, but they go straight at Mac Andrew and give him a little bit of biff. And then, there's a bit of a jumper punch situation going on. So it wouldn't surprise me if a few of these blokes cop a bit of a fine. Nothing more than that. Just a little bit of money, extra money the AFL apparently needs. And for my Brownlow votes, I gave 3 to Noah Anderson, 2 to Christian Petrarca. Those two could pretty much switch either way. I thought they were the 2 best players on the day. And then Jared Witts for the 1. And this is my current Brownlow vote leaderboard at the minute after round 1, 2 rounds, whatever you want to say. Thank you so much for watching. That's the end of the video. If you made it all the way to the end, please let me know if you like this video style. We're going to hit pretty much close to 20 minutes by the time I've had my little ramble at the end. So thank you so much for anyone who's watched all the way to the end of the video. Can you please leave the comment record? This is a record long video for not a non-compilation one where I'm just yapping way too much. But I do appreciate you guys watching the video. So if you do like it, please leave a like. I'm trying to get to 20k subscribers subscribers. So somehow, if you've made it all the way to the end of the video and you aren't subscribed, that is crazy. Make sure you subscribe right now. Thank you very much. And yeah, bring on next week. How are we going to get a bye round in week 3 already? That just seems weird. Or it's round 4, well, week 4, I guess. Anyway, that's enough from me. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Mwah!